from the Don and Lorena Meyer studio at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln College of Journalism and Mass Communications, this is Nebraska Nightly.
Welcome to Nebraska Nightly. I'm Sophie Farrell.
And I'm Noah Carmichael. Our top story today.
It may not be the speed, but the size that makes the Hurricane Milton so catastrophically dangerous. Milton, currently a Category 4 storm, is expected to show slightly before making anticipated landfall in the Florida late Wednesday, but it is also likely to double in size, meaning more of the state will feel its powerful punch. Forecasters predict the eye wall to come ashore and anywhere from Cedar Key in the north to Naples in the south, and possibly Fort Myers or Tampa. Leigh Waldman is in Tampa, where most residents appear to be listening to the dire warnings being given by officials.
This storm is complicated by the mountains of debris left behind in these neighborhoods across Tampa, all from Hurricane Helene less than 2 weeks ago. We were with a debris cleanup company. They said between yesterday and today, they picked up over 100 tons. Now, also in these neighborhoods, you can see some of these homes are starting to board up, people taking this storm seriously and getting out of here.
If you choose to stay, you're staying at your own risk.
That's a huge risk, with monstrous Hurricane Milton on track to deliver a storm surge, more than double what Helene wrought on Florida's Gulf Coast less than 2 weeks ago. Tampa, Florida is a possible landfall site. That city's mayor even more blunt regarding the danger.
If you choose to stay in one of those evacuation areas, you're going to die.
This Tampa resident is one of thousands heeding that advice. He's bugging out of Tampa with his wife on their 46th wedding anniversary.
What God will give us, we will accept it and always go to the safe place you can go. We'll see.
Also critical, clearing out debris left behind by Helene.
All hands on deck trying to help out the city as much as we can before the big storm comes.
This moving company is one of many being commissioned by local officials to work the coastal areas around the clock.
We hauled close to 100 tons of debris just yesterday alone.
But soon these crews will have to stop helping others and save themselves.
This storm's going to be different. If you're in an evacuation zone, please get out.
And if there's any doubt, veteran Florida meteorologist John Morales may offer some clarity.
It has dropped 50 millibars in 10 hours. I apologize. This is just horrific.
The fear that you heard in his voice was echoed in so many other lifelong Tampa residents who we spoke to, who said they've never left for a storm before, but said they're leaving from this one because they're simply scared of the amount of water that Hurricane Milton is expected to bring in. In Tampa, Florida, Leigh Waldman reporting.
The storm is expected to remain a powerful Category 4 through Tuesday, according to the National Hurricane Center.
Milton will likely weaken again before making landfall on Florida's Gulf Coast as a major Category 3 Wednesday night into Thursday morning.
Logan Schlotman has more on the hurricane. On the hurricane and what to expect in Lincoln for the rest of the week.
Just recently, the National Hurricane Center did upgrade up to a Cat 5 as we do see winds up to 165 miles per hour. The pressure right now is higher than we've seen recently, where it's down to 892 millibars. That is currently at 920. Like I said, currently Category 5, but expect to make landfall probably around Category 3 as landfall is going to be around that late Wednesday, and peak storm surge should be up to 10 to 15 feet in certain areas. While taking a look at some current places for your current storm surges, we can see that impact is really at Tampa Bay, where we can see those higher storm surges, but it's still going to be affecting both coasts on the east and the west. And taking a look at some other things, this is going to be the next 3 days. This more white cone right here is going to be expected that Wednesday, late Wednesday, as for the 4 and 5 days, it should just get out back into the Atlantic. Taking a look here in Nebraska, though, we'll be seeing those temperatures in the upper 70s and 80s, mainly across the state, with 80 in Columbus, 82 up in O'Neill, and then 83 in Valentine. Currently in the capital city, that's going to be mostly sunny, 80 degrees, a southerly wind of 10 miles per hour, dew point of 36. That humidity is finally getting back up as we did see a couple of fires from some of those high gusts and those really low humidity. So good to see that going back up as current satellite a really cloud-free day for most of the United States, except for some places on the coast. While taking a look more into Nebraska, maybe some cirrus clouds and a little bit of some smoke up in central Nebraska, but if so, very clear. While taking a look at that radar, currently nothing across the sky, and going for the NAMS model 2 is going to be the same thing, dry as it has been the past couple of weeks, with nothing so far happening over the next 48 to 72 hours. While taking a look at our current fronts, there's a stationary front up north of us, but mainly still going to be that high pressure, but we will see some of that lower pressure come in, maybe some more gusty winds coming in over the next few days, but it's going to overall remain a pretty peaceful type of weather. While taking a look at those rain chances, as you do see, next 7 days is 0% all the way up till next Tuesday. While later tonight, there's going to be 48 degrees, a southerly wind of 5 to 10 miles per hour, mostly clear, and it's going to be seasonally mild. While going on to tomorrow, we'll see that high of 87 degrees, a south-southwesterly wind of 5 to 8 miles per hour. Should be mostly sunny and seasonably warm outside. While taking a look at that week ahead, it is cookie cutter days all the way up until next Tuesday, where we're mainly going to be seeing mid to upper 80s all the way up until Saturday, mostly sunny, and then we'll see a cold front come in and bring us down to maybe some more cooler than average temperatures. We'll be seeing 60s on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, but still be seeing those mostly sunny conditions. Well, taking a look in the future, this is going to be for that third week in October, so that second half, it's still going to be probably more seasonally warm and still more seasonally dry. So it's been cookie cutter so far, probably since September. That's all I have for the weather. Back to you.
On Sunday came the time for the annual walk of the Lincoln's chapter of Alzheimer's Association. Families, friends, and sponsors gathered to raise awareness for their disease. The association organizes events to fund research, advance critical care, and find a cure. The disease impacts the patient and the family caregivers. Tammy Bernholtz says her father suffered from Alzheimer's for 10 years before passing away.
We know how it feels to have someone, to lose someone to this disease, because you lose the person long before you lose the person. And I don't want anybody else to have to go through that.
The Lincoln chapter raised more than $140,000. For more information on how to make donations and support the Alzheimer's cause, go to their website, act.alz.org.
The Lincoln Children's Zoo held its annual Sensory Safari on Wednesday in partnership with the Nebraska Game and Parks Commission. Nebraska Nightly Luke Vi takes us through the event and how important it is for the community.
Safari is an annual event held at the Children's Zoo on the first Wednesday of October. Going on over 15 years, it caters to the sensory impaired and offers an individualized experience learning about nature. Monica McCubry, a wildlife education specialist for the Nebraska Game and Parks, said how important her job is for the community.
So we do a lot of things in the urban areas, and especially like Lincoln and Omaha, where we might be people's first connection to nature. So whether that's going on a bird hike or just getting out and observing nature, having events like this, we're usually that first connection with them, and that is the best experience.
This year, the safari had 18 interpretive stations with the help of the State Museum, Forest Service, and Nebraska Game and Parks Commission. Aaron Lenz, the Director of Communications at the Lincoln Children's Zoo, says mixing the interactive booths with the resources the zoo has meshes together well to meet everyone's needs.
Really kind of a mixture of what we're already doing at the zoo, so we're making sure that our critter outpost, our hive building, jungle outpost, they all are staffed and they have people out with critters and animals that guests can see and do a two-finger touch with, and then making sure that we have our lettuce available for those sensory safari guests.
Jessica Ellsbury attended the event with her new friend Katie Luby. Katie is a veteran of the safari and even traveled over an hour to attend today, but for Jessica, it was a new experience.
This is my first time coming to the safari, so this is kind of cool because I get to feel the different stuff, feel what I like, feel what I don't like.
For Katie, she did not enjoy the sea life very much.
I didn't like touching the fish. It felt weird.
For the both, they hope to keep attending in the future.
I'll be here every year. It's going to be a tradition from now on.
Now I think it's a tradition, we're coming together every year.
Although the safari is over for the year, it's always exciting to look forward to the next event. Monica says the biggest goal is to get people from across the state to attend and to make it that event for people to go to each year. For Nebraska Nightly, I'm Luke Vi.
If you are interested in taking part in the safari or just want to take a relaxing walk through the zoo, their hours are 10 a.m. to 5 p.m.
On Friday, the Board of Regents decided to legalize the selling and drinking of alcohol at Husker games. The new law allows fans to purchase alcoholic beverages at any sports event starting in the 2025 season. The board hopes that by allowing this activity inside the stadium, it will increase safety in public areas before games begin. Board members Timothy Clare had this to say as he placed his vote.
I'm going to be supporting this. I think it's a way to bring it in-house and actually control it and provide a more controlled setting for the consumption of alcohol as opposed to the binge drinking or the guzzling to get a buzz prior to a game or at halftime, which quite frankly is the wrong thing to try to teach our youth.
It was already possible to purchase alcohol at UNO and UNK games with little to no effect on fans when they left the 2024 season games. You must be over the age of 21 to purchase alcohol, and if you plan on drinking a lot, make sure to have a designated driver.
Homecoming weekend was a success on the field and the court.
Sports is next on Nebraska Nightly.
Nebraska Nightly.
Welcome back.
Well, yeah, homecoming weekend has come and gone, and the Huskers were undefeated on the weekend.
Nebraska Nightly sports anchor Harmon Johnson has the details from the weekend. Harmon?
Well, thank you, Noah and Sophie. That's right. Nebraska athletics had yet another successful weekend with both football and volleyball picking up wins. We start today on the Terraflex, where the number 2 ranked Nebraska volleyball squad returned home Sunday afternoon and picked up a victory against the Iowa Hawkeyes. Nebraska remains unbeaten all-time against Iowa, improving to 39-0. The most competitive set was the first, with Nebraska winning 25-17. Nebraska led in all team offensive and defensive categories and were clean from the service line with only one serving error. Andy Jackson missed her second game in a row with an undisclosed lower body injury, but middles Layla Blackwell and Rebecca Alex stepped up. Both hit over 500, earning 9 kills apiece. Nebraska will return to action on Friday night at the Bob Devaney Sports Center against number 10 Purdue. First serve is set for 7:30 p.m. and will air on Big Ten Network. The Nebraska football team hosted Rutgers for homecoming last Saturday, looking to stay hot after a gritty win against Purdue. Dylan Raiola, the freshman phenom, ready for his third conference game and first as a Husker. The first quarter, 3 minutes left, Dante Dowdell takes the 4th and goal straight up the middle. Huskers lead 7-0. Under 2 minutes till half, and Janiron Bonner is going to make not one, but 2 men miss as he finds the edge and scores from 11 yards out. Huskers take a shutout into the half, leading by 14. Out of halftime, Rutgers still scoreless. They're going to come up with a big punt block right here by Jameer Wright-Collins, and the Scarlet Knights end up returning it all the way to the 5. Rutgers with great field position, and Husker fans, they can't believe it. Needing a stop, the Blackshirts up against the goal line. They're going to come up with a big pass breakup on 4th and short by Marquise Buford Jr. Turnover on downs. Husker fans changed their tune. They are loving it. Score still 14-0 late in the 4th. Rutgers quarterback Ethan Kaliak-Manis finds Ben Black in the end zone for the Scarlet Knights' only score on the day. Nebraska holds on in another sluggish Big Ten showdown. Final score 14-7 on homecoming Saturday. The Blackshirts are the only defense in the country to not allow a rushing touchdown through Week 6. Nebraska Nightly's Molly Kiefer breaks down the Huskers' 5th victory this season.
Performance by the Huskers defense and an offensive showing that was just enough as the Huskers survived 14-7 against the Rutgers Scarlet Knights.
Our defense practiced harder this week than they have probably in 2 years here.
And I think that, you know, what they put in came out kind of when the game started.
They all fueled that last drive to go out there and just say, you know, this is the defense we are. So to go out there and, you know, all 11 guys do what they're supposed to do, it ends up winning the game.
With the win, the Huskers move on to 7-0 in the series against Rutgers. They will be moving into the bye week 5-1. Reporting for Nebraska Nightly, I'm Molly Kiefer.
And finally, we've hit October, which means fall baseball and softball is right around the corner. The Nebraska softball team kicks off their fall schedule tomorrow afternoon in the first of 4 Scarlet and Cream scrimmages. They will play at 4 p.m. each of the remaining Wednesdays in October at Bolin Stadium. Nebraska will not play any outside opponents this fall due to a majority of the pitching corps still recovering from injuries. No concessions will be offered, but fans can bring their own outside food and drink to each of the 4 scrimmages. And for the Nebraska baseball team, they begin their annual Red-White series on Friday night at 6 p.m. The Huskers will play a total of 5 7-inning games. Saturday is slated for a 2 p.m. start. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday's action will begin at 3 p.m. The Huskers will not play an outside opponent for this year's fall games. Nebraska did have Wichita State on the schedule last month for a marathon 16-inning contest, but the game was canceled due to weather. Limited concessions will be available for purchase at Hawks Field, and both series will be free to the public. And for those baseball fans that cannot attend, the baseball scrimmages will be streamed live on Nebraska's YouTube. So guys, a lot going on in Husker sports. Baseball is finally back. I can't wait for the weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm definitely looking forward to checking out 1 or 2 of those scrimmages. I'm a big baseball fan.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching some more volleyball games, but I mean, you can't go wrong with any Husker sports.
Yeah, no, volleyball against Purdue, that'll be a good one.
Yeah.
Next on Nebraska Nightly,
A spooky anniversary.
and a new musical at the Lead Center. All coming up after the break.
There is a lot to look forward to in Lincoln. Dane Lyons is here with all the details.
It's Halloween season again, which means sweats, costumes, and horror movies. One special horror film will see itself on the big screen again, and that's The Nightmare on Elm Street. The 80s flick is celebrating its 40th anniversary, and you can catch it this Friday night at the Lincoln Grand Cinema. You'll be going 88 miles an hour when you hear about Back to the Future the musical, showing at the Lead Center. Watch Marty McFly and Doc Brown go back in time in their DeLorean and hear songs like Johnny Be Good and The Power of Love. It's a race against time because this award-winning show will only be here October 8th through the 13th. Tickets and more information can be found at leadcenter.org. If you're into horses, then you'll certainly be down for this equestrial showcase. The National Reining Horse Association will host a regional reining horse championship featuring enthusiasts from all across the Central Plains. This event will take place at the Sandhills Global Events Center, 41 North 84th Street, from October 10th through the 13th. Each event will start at 8 a.m. and admission is free.
Nebraska Nightly is a production of the University of Nebraska's College of Journalism and Mass Communications. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next week on Nebraska Nightly.